going to, I'm going to hand these out. So here's five for the front row. And I'm going to, do you want Keegan to have one of his own? Or are you going to share?
One share.
So you want to share, or Keegan would you like one of your own? Share?
We'll share.
Awesome. Sure. Okay. So here's five for the middle row. So we're going to first talk about the keys. Did I get enough for everybody? Okay. So first of all, how was the Napo taco? Totally tasted normal, right? So notice it's a scone. That is a scone you can make sweet or savory. All I did is take that scone, that packet, that mix, and the chili. That's like $8.50, right, for the whole thing. That's enough for a family of like, I mean, this whole entire thing, right? So yeah, it's a crock pot and it's this whole entire group, right? So it's pretty inexpensive, and it made about 20 pretty big stones. It's about 20, 22. Is that about what we made? 18? Okay, I can't how many we made. And we put cheese in them. That's kind of our favorite go-to meal. It's quick, it's fast, right? There's no yeast in it, so it's one you cannot mess up, right? But it's probably our good go-to, and you don't fry them, right? So that it's lower in fat and everything. The banana cream pie, all homemade, no preservatives, anything like that. It would have been milk-free had we not made it with milk, but we added milk to the actual pudding itself. You can make it milk-free, believe it or not.
What would you use instead of milk?
You would just use a milk substitute. So
Like
you can use almond milk, you can use rice milk, you can use soy milk in your milk base, and then it boils, right? And then you add, you don't have to use the egg yolk, that's just more of a little bit of a thickener in the process, you don't have to. And there's a vanilla base that adds the additional flavor, and it's in there, and it's excellent. And then you can have bananas, you can have coconut, you can have whatever, right? She made another one separate. So anyway, and then that's our pie crust. So that's what you've had so far. The cinnamon donuts, you'll notice we have 6 different kinds of donuts. There's the donut cookers and then 2 different kinds of bagels and everything. Our next class, just so you know, we do a class once a month. The class is designed for us to share our knowledge. And by the way, I'm Jan. I've had celiac for 14 years. I was diagnosed way back before it was cool, okay? Before anybody had it and before there was anything out there to eat. There was no options, nothing tasted good, and it was like eating your shoes, okay? But we've got to have the things that taste good. So you'll notice that there are, in the stores, there are some gluten-free snack foods, but there are not a lot of what I will call good home cooking options. So in other words, we have cream of soups and pastas and chicken pot pie and pizzas and real pancakes and flour tortillas and breads and chili and real pies, things, we cover the gamut from breads to breakfast to desserts to flowers to dinners, if you'll look at the breadth of everything. And that's pretty hard to find. When we teach these classes, so last month we taught a little bit about baking breads, right? How to bake the perfect gluten-free bread, from cinnamon rolls to bread to French bread to breadsticks, all of which take different flours, right? Everybody walks in and says, well, just tell me the perfect flour. Well, there is no such thing, but can we help you with everything you need there? So for example, if you said, I want basically a perfect white flour, I would say then you want Mom's Blend. Mom's Blend is an excellent flour substitute. It's a cup-per-cup substitute. It already contains xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is the leavening agent in the flour in places like the gluten. The thing that makes it rise, the thing that makes it perform, okay? You'll find recipes on Pinterest and on everywhere you want to find on the internet that say, do some of this flour and this flour and this flour and add some of this and add some of this and add some of this and add some of this. I'm just going to tell you, add it all together and put Mom's Blend in because it is not worth trying to figure all that out, okay? You'll spend a whole lot more money by having all these 12 flours laid out on your kitchen and in your pantry and everything else, and they will not turn out the way you want them to. Some will be too dense, some will be too dry, some because they have not been tried and tested like these have, okay? So before we launch a product, we've tried and tested it hundreds of times to make sure that they're going to be perfect for you, okay? So for example, a flour that is required in an angel food cake is totally different than what goes in a lemon square, which is totally different than what goes in a carrot cake, and is totally different than what goes in a bagel, and is totally different than what goes in a blueberry muffin, and it's totally different than what goes in a poppy seed muffin, okay? Everything is different. So, whether it be sorghum, or brown rice, or white rice, or amaranth, or potato starch, or white rice, or tapioca, or arrowroot, or teff, or whatever, they're all different, and they all perform differently, and they all absorb moisture differently, and they all absorb yeast differently, and they all have different nutritional benefits, okay? If you want to go to that 14 years worth of learning all that, that's fine too, but we've tried to make it simple for you, because I don't think you want to dedicate your life to this, because I just want you to enjoy what you do, enjoy to eat, right? And that's the objective of Mom's Place, is we want it to be simple for you. When someone first goes gluten-free, they think three things. It's going to be hard, it's going to be expensive, and it's going, I want to say suck, but it's not going to suck. Okay, it's going to be hard, it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be, it's going to taste bad. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be any of those three things. It can be easy, it can be super affordable, and we're here to make it taste excellent, okay? That's our objective, and we're here to be that partner for you. So if you want a simple flour, that's this. If you're used to using like a wheat flour, okay, I'm going to say, then you want a wheat flour substitute that's gluten-free. That is our harvest blend, okay? It's a little heartier. It's like a wheat flour substitute, but gluten-free, okay? And if you do a lot of high-handle things like pizza or pie crust that need to be rolled out, okay, then I would recommend our artisan flour. So for instance, Connie tried to make a pie crust out of Mom's blend, and she was like, it didn't work compared to the artisan flour, right? Yeah, you couldn't roll it, like it performs totally different, right? High handle and then white flour. They're all a little bit different. So that's why we have like a bread that we have a white bread equivalent, and then one that's called, I can't believe it's not wheat, because again, some people want a white bread, some people want, I can't believe it's not wheat bread, okay? So those are just some of the things that we have that are for you, okay? So Brady talked a little bit about the difference between celiac disease, right? People say all the time, well, I don't have celiac, maybe I have a gluten intolerance, maybe I have an allergy. Let me talk about those three things for just a second, okay? I'm gonna break it down super simple. We all have little fingers in our tummy. They're called villi. They go like this, okay? They process food. Whether we have Crohn's, or whether we have ADHD, or whether we have anything we have, just like he said, brain and tummy work together, right? Their job is to process food, but their also job is to absorb nutrients. They go like this, but on the ends of them, they have little nutrient-absorbing tentacles, and they go like this. When they get injured because our wheat today kills them, it's the best answer, way I can word it, they go like this. So they stop absorbing nutrients. It affects us cognitively, okay, brains. It affects us topically in our rashes. It affects us in the way that we absorb food. So some of it we just store it here or anywhere, right? It affects us in an inflammation way. It affects us in a diabetic way. It affects us in a brain fog way. Sometimes we eat and it's like, I can't even think straight, right? So it affects, sometimes we eat and we're like, I just can't even feel satisfied. Like I eat and eat and eat, but I am starving all the time. Have you ever felt that way? But look at what you ate tonight, right? All you had was a little bowl of chili, half a scone basically, right? Little piece of pie. And you're not hungry, right? I would assume. Those people say, I'm satisfied, like I'm not starving, right? And it's because your body recognizes the food you consumed and said, okay, I recognize this. I recognize this as actual food. It's not preservatives. It's not bigger, faster, cheaper Walmart, right? It's actually something I can consume and my body feels satisfied, okay? So the difference between celiac, gluten, and intolerance, let's just say those are on 3 different scales. Let's just say that if somebody's celiac, you're like a 99 or a 90, okay? Let's say if you're gluten intolerance or allergy, let's say somebody there's like in a 80-ish and somebody else is like in a 50-ish, right? Everybody's on that scale. Let's just say Connie may only be a 20, right? But still she has some gluten-related or milk-related or whatever kind of food allergies. I may be a 99, right? Keegan may be a 74. Doesn't matter, we're all kind of on that scale, right? Somebody with Crohn's disease may be a 64. It kind of doesn't matter. It's that our food and what we consume and the pureness of that food causes our body to not perform to its optimal levels of time. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so you guys can take all this and read it. Now, the want to talk about here are the keys to eating gluten-free, and that's super important. So, the number one key to eating gluten-free is the fewest ingredients, okay? So I just gave you the definition first. Now we're going to jump into your handout. The first key is fewest ingredients. So let me tell you what that means. Your body does not need all the preservatives or all the things that a lot of our foods have today. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you go to the store and you want to buy some potato chips, okay? Does your body need a 24 ingredient bag of potato chips or a bag of, let's say, Lay's Naturals that just has potatoes, oil, and salt? 3 ingredients. Because really, what does a potato chip need? Just going to ask you.
Salt and oil.
Potatoes, oils, and salt, right? I don't care, you're all going to eat potato chips, so I don't care what you say, you're going to do it. But this has 24 ingredients, and 6 of them are wheat, okay? Malt barley, maltodextrin, molasses, tortilla wheat, natural smoked flavor, caramel color, yeast extract, and I could go on and on and on, okay? A lot of those your body doesn't even know how to assimilate because they are preservatives and other things like that. So some of them, we just store them in different places, right? Because our body doesn't know what to do with them, right? And over time, it makes us sick because our body doesn't know what to do with them, okay? So fewest ingredients is super key to what we're going to talk here, right? So if you go to the store to buy something and you can't pronounce what's in it, I highly recommend you don't consume it, okay? So for example, everything in here, you'll know what it is because it'll say organic cane sugar or cane sugar, it'll say pure chocolate chips, it'll say powdered milk and exactly what that is, and you'll know because nothing in here has a preservative introduced into it, and there's no GMOs and there's no gluten, so you'll know exactly what it is, okay? Number 2 key is to plan ahead, okay? So all of us in our society are used to running through fast foods, running out to eat, not planning ahead. Oh, gee, let's run to Wendy's. Oh, gee, let's run to pizza. Oh, let's run through blah, 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 right? We've got to plan ahead. Number 1, it's more efficient with our dollars, right? We've been told that over and over and over again. You're laughing because, right? I'm just kidding. I know, we talk, right? And we all do, right? We all work, right? So that's why we have a lot of things what I'll call down-home cooking, okay? So for example, it is super easy to grab some chicken at the store, throw some cream of chicken on it, right? Put it in the crock pot and let it slow simmer throughout the day and serve it for dinner over some potatoes and a vegetable, right? It's not that hard. Super easy to throw that chili in the crock pot, right? Have so-and-so or you or whatever, whip up some scones and throw that for dinner. There's a lot of dinner items over here that can be whipped up in about 20 minutes, like the beef stroganoff and a penne pasta and that type of thing. They're pretty simple, but it does come back to a little bit of cooking like mom did, right? But it requires planning. What I do, like sometimes on the weekends, I'll whip up our cinnamon rolls, the poppy seed muffins and the blueberry muffins, and I will freeze them, okay? Here's the difference between, you're used to freezing traditional breads, which get wet and sweaty in the freezer and super gross, right? Okay, that is because our flours are bleached, unbleached, fluffed, added flour, enhanced so that they are heavier, fluffier, and look bigger, because consumers like bigger, faster, cheaper, right? So they make them bigger. And none of that has been tested on our bodies, like Dr. Wyrick said, and none of them can we actually ingest, okay? So, when those go into the freezer, they get wet and sweaty because all that water comes out of them, okay? Our products won't do that. So, I'll make cinnamon rolls, I pop them in the freezer. When you get them out, put them in the microwave for 45 seconds, they're just like they were when you took them out. They're excellent. Same with the waffles, I'll pop them in the toaster. So it saves a ton of time, right? I'll make beef stroganoff, and it's what we have for lunch that day. Yesterday, I threw a roast in the crock pot, put the taco seasoning on it. We had nachos for dinner, and I brought it, we had taco salads for lunch here. You know what I mean? It's all about like planning what you're gonna do. So, fewest ingredients, planning. Number 3 is all things in moderation, right? I had a lady come in in 84, I think, love her. She came in and she was like, I hadn't had carrot cake in like 5 years, and I ate the whole thing. Okay, that's not what